Hi everybody, welcome to Serie Chronicles, latest episode. Mina and I are recording in the United Kingdom where we have a new Prime Minister, Mina, and it's not someone from the produce aisle, it's a person, not lettuce, which we're a little bit disappointed about. We probably shouldn't get too political. We'll get in trouble if we go down that path, and there's plenty to say about Italian politics as well, but never dull, is it? Never dull, is it, here at the moment?
No, I mean, if you guys didn't know, there was like a lettuce and they were trying to figure out who was going to outlast it, our Prime Minister or the lettuce. But,
and the lettuce won.
I'm just wondering if it's going to be engaged in any more races. This is how much you feel like sports, by the way. Like, we have a competition for everying. You know?
Do.
Oh,
but
Nikki,
I tell you where there
doing?
was... I'm all right. I'm having a crazy day, Mina. Today's a mess. And you know what else is a mess, Mina, is every defence in Serie this weekend. I'm exaggerating slightly, but there were 3 games in which teams scored 4 goals. I think we should start with the most chaotic of all of them, because it really was chaotic, which was Fiorentina 3, Inter 4. I feel like we've been hinting at for a while this idea that, oh, okay, now we really are back to Pazza Inter. There's no more pretenses about it. We've had Antonio Conte's regular and strong era at Inter, and now we have the Pazza Inter. This was... I don't even know what to think about this game, Mina. I've been writing about this game, and I still don't actually know what I think about this game, because on the one hand, some remarkable resilience from Inter. They went 2-0 up. They got picked back to 2-2. They took the lead again. They got picked back at 3-0. They got the goal again in injury time. On the other hand, they absolutely should have been on 10 men from the moment Di Marco put his studs on Bonaventura's knee in the penalty box, which the referee Varelli didn't even spot at first. The VAR booth picked it up and sent him there. He ends up giving the penalty and then doesn't even book Di Marco, which I cannot understand. I cannot understand how you see that challenge and don't think it's worthy of some sort of card. Mina, I don't know, what was your overarching feeling by the end of this game? Inter are back, or this was just madness from top to bottom?
I actually don't have much to say about Inter. I don't think they did too much wrong. I mean, look, this was a game that I genuinely thought was done and dusted until Di Marco just turned into a psychopath. But no, I'm joking, yeah. But until he committed that error, I really thought that this was just an easy win for Inter. It is pretty much like I predicted. For me, when they asked me, like, which team did I think was going to win this, I was like, Inter, it's fine, you know. It's away from home. They're always scared about Fiorentina, but they've had really good results there, like, against Fiorentina in the last 12 games. So, and then, you know, there was that moment, and all of a sudden Fiorentina decided that they're going to be up for this challenge and they're going to try again in this game. And even though they conceded 3 goals, like one was a penalty, I don't actually have much to criticize them for. I think everyone had their moment. When Lautaro Martinez and Barella are in the kind of form that they're in right now, I find them unstoppable. And I really do think when Lautaro Martinez shows you the full extent of the weapons that he has in his arsenal, it is stunning to watch. You know, 3 goals from his left foot, 3 with his right, 4 goals in the last 3 matches. I mean, he's been amazing. Barella has now taken part in 50 goals in Serie A. No one at his age has managed that, you know.
It was such a good finish, that first goal as well. I really enjoyed it. It was a striker's finish.
Yeah, and I don't know if you heard the commentator, but he keeps going having a go about Barella, who was always up in the referee's face. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine, yeah, but no one complains when Barcelona do it, you know. So, like, you know, go on and do that if you have to. Let the Italians do it. But, like, I have more of an issue with Fiorentina, and I guess most of the things I have to say is the fact of, why did you go to sleep until you got the penalty, you know? Where is your pride and comeback? Like, why did they have to give you an open invitation to come back into the game before you did? Secondly, I like the changes made to make it 2-2, but by having so many attackers, where's your balance? Your defense, I think, is is so bad. Like, it is that defense for me. Like, if you can't score a goal, then at least know how to cover back at the back, you know? And that really bothers me. And most of the things that I have to say have to do with, you know, I don't think they have a great team. I don't understand the purpose of Dodo. Like, if I was there, I would just be like, well, you're just not playing at this moment in time. Like, never, you know? Like, Dodo is somebody that I cannot handle watching. Like, I really cannot, you know? And I feel sorry for them from an attacking point of view, but I do think that if you can't score goals, then at least know how to defend it at the back. And yes, there is so much to say about the referee. It's fine. I totally get that. I don't feel like Dzeko's was a foul, by the way. I don't necessarily see that one. But I definitely think that Di Marco should have been sent off. So I understand that. But it's Paolo Barella, right? Like, he always makes, he's like the Rocky Horror Show. There's always one massive mistake, you know, at one point. And then what happened afterwards between Rocco Commisso demanding an apology from Inter, and I what's going on with Fiorentina? Like, I don't understand, you know, and then beating up that fan who celebrated the Inter goal at the end. I feel like there's a lot of problems there with that club that they really need to mend, because they're going to start spiraling out of control. And I can understand why that they feel hard done by in this match. And I totally understand, especially a goal that I feel like Mkhitaryan had no idea that he was scoring. But the rest of it, I'm more worried for Fiorentina than I am about thinking that Inzaghi and his Inter are back. I never really thought they were out of it. And I don't even know if they're back in it either, because like I said, this is a really topsy-turvy season where there isn't anyone barring Napoli that look to me like they're very capable, steady and consistent at all times.
Yeah, it's so hard to know where to even go with Inter, right? So they've gone 5 games now, well, 4 wins and a draw in 5 games. The draw was away to Barcelona at the Camp Nou, so already you go, well, it's a pretty decent place to get your one draw, and they could have won it, right? Like, if Asllani squares the ball to Mkhitaryan exactly as Barella does in this game, they win that game as well. And it's kind of a repeat of last season in a sense, in that Inzaghi last season was able to go, well, all right, we didn't win the league like they did under Conte, but look, I did get Inter through to the Champions League knockout rounds, which no one had done in a decade, by the way. Like, literally no one in a decade had taken them that far. And I won the cup. And the European situation is they're not through yet, but it's really impressive when you think how bad they were in that opening game against Bayern Munich, that they're now completely in control of their destiny, need to just beat Victoria Pilsen, or even if they don't beat Victoria Pilsen, will probably still go through, because the chances are that Bayern Munich aren't going to give Barcelona 3 points either. So it's been a really impressive rebound in Europe. And in the league, look, it's a lot. They're a long way off top still, but I think it's kind of early to worry about that. I think what's more interesting is exactly what you were just saying. Like, Barella and Lautaro, when those two players are on, are huge difference makers. And I think the great question for me with this team is still, why is it that Lautaro Martinez goes 43 days without scoring a goal and then suddenly is back to being one of the best strikers in Europe? Because that's what he looks like when he's playing at this level.
Yeah.
That's a mystery that for me, I can't fully solve. I know there were some quotes that were picked up from last week where he was talking about how last season, when he was in a goal scoring drought, it was like every night I would go to bed thinking about the fact I hadn't scored. So he's obviously someone who, like, this weighs on him, right? Like, when things aren't going his way, which is partially an explanation. That's just the character he is. But yeah, the difference between Inter with good Lautaro and Inter with bad Lautaro is big. I think I feel more optimistic for them than not going forward, because look, Lukaku's supposed to be back for the game against Pilsen, so that's pretty big, right? You've got your strike partnership back where you want it, unless you're completely skeptical about Lukaku, which I know Mina is not number one fan of Lukaku. I don't think you're so skeptical that you think they're better off without him, are you?
No. Especially not if you're telling me, would you rather have Korea? No thanks, I'd rather have Lukaku.
Oh my goodness.
Dzeko, so I do see that. With Lautaro Martinez, I don't know it's really hard to judge kids, because we have examples like Haaland and Mbappe, and so now we expect a lot of them. And the truth is that when you're young, you are inconsistent a lot of the times, and you're supposed to allow that to happen on its own. Like Vinicius Jr., I mean, I remember at Real Madrid, like everyone used to think, where is this guy? Like, why is he so bad? And then all of a sudden he wins the Champions League. Or you have Rafael Leao, where I was like, oh my God, it's like 4 games he'll show up on and 4 he'll fall asleep in. And I don't know whether it is the kind of game that he's playing, and I wonder if Lautaro Martinez right now would be the best if Barella is not at the peak as well. But to have somebody who is there for him as well, who can produce the magic that Barella can, allows Lautaro Martinez even more opportunity to, I think, like, fight and be that player. And I think it's quite hard to lead the line because he used to depend on Lukaku. And I do think that'll be good for him to come back. I just hope that the team don't only look for Lukaku and then, you know what I mean? That's the only thing that worries me about, is that he's such a big presence that he sort of swallows all the attention. But the difference, I guess, between both of them is that they both played a really good game, Fiorentina and Inter. But the difference is Lautaro Martinez and Barella, and 2 individuals that have the quality of superstars that Fiorentina just don't have. I mean, they've just bought so much in attacking talent, but all of it is very subpar. Like that game with Vlahovic up top would have made the difference for them, right? But my point is if you don't have that talent up front, then perhaps try to figure out a way of plugging the holes at the bottom. But I also understand that if Italiano has a plan and he wants it all to work, and perhaps right now he is forsaking his defense in order to sort of bring back the attack that hasn't scored many goals. So again, I respect his methodology, albeit like right now it's just not producing the results they need.